Welcome to the presentation of the key activity of the second partial. This presentation will be presented by me, Juan Ramón Álvarez González, Roberto Carlos Navarro Félix, and Emiliano López Pándora. So, first of all, we as a team had a growing curiosity that there can be potential for the use of psychedelic mushrooms in the medicine field. This fact is being reinforced by the constant advances of medicine and the fungi field. Therefore, we're curious about what the people think about this topic. So, let's start with the basics. We asked the people if they knew something about fungi, and out of 22 people, 12 know at least the main idea, which at least gave me a surprise. If people didn't really know about this topic that it's seen in their day-to-day basis, it's certainly bad for common culture. Now, the second question didn't give me a surprise because in this case, we asked the people if they know something about mycology. This term being really specific in the topic of fungi, it's really unusual for people to know it. So we can see that only 27% know the term. After this, we jump into the main question of the presentation. Are you in favor or against the use of psychedelic mushrooms in medicine? Well, a whopping 80 persons out of 22 were in favor, and this took me by surprise, especially knowing the results of the previous questions. Three people were neutral on the topic, only one person was against it. Now, let's take a break from the medicine field and let's go to what people may know more. Especially thanks to seeing this in day-to-day basis, and especially in the cooking, we are going to see the most commonly known mushrooms. We have the Agaricus bisporus, which is the good old normal white shroom that is usually used in cooking. We also have the portobello, a giant brown mushroom that has the same use as the Agaricus bisporus. And finally, the Pleotrus ostratus, another shroom used for cooking. Now I will give the word to Roberto Carlos Navarro Felix.
Thank you, Juan. When it was asked, why do you think that psilocybin fungi are considered taboo in medicine? The main reasons were because they are illegal, addictive, are associated with drugs, there is not enough research, and urban myths. When it was asked to the participants of the survey if they had ever had a psychedelic experience, out of 22 people, two answered that they had one, and the rest thought they didn't. When they were asked about the existence of Paul Stamets, most of them, 21 of 22 people, didn't know him. Paul Stamets is an important mycologist that has done important progress in the research of the utility of fungi in the medical field. Oh, and yes, was the dominating answer to the question, should psilocybin mushrooms be legalized in Mexico? Around three-quarters of the people gave their approval. Most of them may have agreed to it, since Mexican people are familiar to use nature to cure themselves, considering it part of their culture, the good or remedy of the grandmother. Nevertheless, when asked if they knew any medication made of psilocybin mushrooms, a little under 20% turned out to know. Now, I give the word to my classmate Emiliano, who will continue talking to you out the survey, and will also give you a brief conclusion on the topic.
Thanks. By the time our participants were asked about the influence or dependence of psychedelic mushrooms, the results were quite expected since more than half of the participants answered with a yes, showing the effect of this taboo in the people. However, they still believe that this type of mushrooms can help fixing mental illnesses. When the interviewers were asked about a range of time for the psychedelic mushrooms to be legalized, there was a notorious tie between 5 to 10 years and more than 20 years. Another interesting fact was that even though most of them didn't knew lots of things about mushrooms, they did know about the term microdoses, getting to a percentage of over 68.2%. After they were put to think about the taboo of mushrooms in the medicine, they were asked if it had more upsides or downsides. Most of them didn't try to get in an extremist position, choosing equal in the questionnaires. In conclusion, after analyzing all the data, the open-mindedness of the people of modern times can be seen, since they are not completely denying the possibility of using psychedelic mushrooms as medicine, but they're still being cautious about it. This suggests a future in which fungi may not only help fight the bacterial illnesses of humankind, just like penicillin, but all sicknesses of humankind. This will be all of my part. Have a nice day.